All right, everyone. So this is our little review for Quiz 2. And as a reminder of Quiz 2, we are going to be covering the first 2.5 hours of class, so from 3 to 5:30 p.m., dedicated to the quiz. And of course, after the quiz, if you finish it early or if you finish it before the break, you can go ahead and work on the presentation. But usually, I would say because the presentation we have this time is a bit longer, it's around 20 to 25 slides. I would say try to have the majority of it done before that day so that you can earn your full credit for participation as well. Other than that, the quiz, of course, if you're taking it into the second half, that's fine too. There's no rush with it, but I really want everyone to be able to present. And the materials of the quiz are going to be chapters 5 to 11. And I included the links to the videos I recorded for each of the chapters here. Excuse me, sorry. So from chapters 5 and 6, if you click on that, that will take you to the YouTube video of me explaining it and so forth. This might be easier to go to than having to open up the PowerPoints and skip through it. But I don't have it broken down into each chapter. Unfortunately, maybe I could do that for you guys. But really, it's just kind of, there's a lot of different aspects from each chapter in the various questions. So make sure that I can add the titles to each of these as well. Actually, I'll do that for us now that I'm remembering it. I'll add the titles for each heading. So one of them is about social media and stuff as well. So maybe you could reference it that way. But these are just the links to it. Now, I'm not going to go through each and every single one of these because there's quite a bit. And I did compile them a bit slower so that you guys don't have to cycle through so many slides. But what I will say is that the quiz is pretty heavy on the terminology in regards to keywords. So making sure that we remember the keywords is important, the different types. And of course, we're not too familiar with the HTML, I would say, just because, or maybe we are as well, I'm not too sure. But the general idea, and I wanted to reiterate this too, is that the H1 tags that we work with inside of our code are helpful because they're more for the topics. The H2 tags are helping us reinforce relevant content. And then the title tags, which is what is up here at the top of my page, this DM160 Quiz 2, that's my title, is helpful for search engines to determine the topic of your page as well. And now, again, this is here for you guys to reference during the quiz, and I just wanted to put them together underneath the content page there. And again, the general idea that I did for your quiz review here is that I just went ahead and kind of combined the general topics into a single page so that you could reference them a bit easier. For keywords, remember that keywords have a few variations that we need to work with. The seed and the head keyword sound pretty familiar, but there's actually a few differences between them. The head keyword in the quiz is a bit similar to the seed keyword. If we remember that tennis would be a head or a seed keyword, the general idea between these two is to make the kind of core of what our optimization is about. But remember, the quiz is going to ask you on this. This is not really a good thing for optimization, right? Because, like, how are you going to optimize tennis for the search result, right? Like, everyone is going to be searching for tennis. So don't get tricked and say that head is good for optimization or seed. The only difference between these two, the head on the quiz is more so in regards to the very bare bones level. The seed is what we refer to as like a root or a seed keyword, and that's going to be what makes up the rest of your keywords you have. So there's two different questions, one on head and one on seed. They are pretty similar, but if you have any concerns or anything about that as well, please let me know in the quiz chat as well while we're taking it to let me know. Body keywords, I think we're all familiar with at this point. I'm sure you guys are sick of typing up your own. This would be like black coffee in Chicago or anything from 2 to 3 words. These are kind of going to be the bulk of your keywords. And then long tail keywords are the ones that we see have 4 or more keywords, which is essentially like online shoes, although Amazon Canada. So long tail keywords are the ones that are more specific and that go into more detail. And again, which ones do you want to use? It is topic dependent. We usually rely on body a lot, but if you find that you have a pretty niche market, you might use long tail keywords as well. And as a general reminder, when we're working through keywords, the main factors that we need to work with, and we could see that on the result pages whenever we enter in keywords to look up, is that we want to understand what the competition budget and the search volume of those keywords are. Excuse me. See here, remember that we have a few. Oh, sorry. Hi, Sheik. Oh, sorry about that. Welcome. remember that the let's see. So this is just a little addition that I had in the quiz, and this is something that's a bit specific, and I don't want to confuse anyone with it. But the general idea here is that the headings for our website, or the H1 and the H2 tags, should be the ones that kind of have your keywords in it. And then the rest of it, like the first line and the subsequent paragraphs, should be synonyms to those keywords as well. So something like them, but not identical. That's just a general idea, or sorry, a reminder for that. And again, please remember that if the question is a bit confusing on a quiz or a bit hyper specific, just let me know as well. Great. So that's a bit about keywords. I really just wanted to cover the differences between these two. And then please let me know if you're a bit confused about the seed and the head keywords. The general idea on the quiz where it makes its distinction is that the head keyword is something that's not good for optimization, and the seed keyword is what's useful for making up the core of the rest of your keywords. Now, I do have a bit of information on content and content optimization, and you might see here again, I covered this earlier, but the heading tags are here as well. Just as a general reminder, the beginning of our content is always probably going to be the most important because that's what the search engine sees at the start. And remember that we want around 250 to 300 words per page, as that's the ideal amount. Anything less or more is going to be a bit too much or too little. Interactive content is something we saw a little bit, but interactive content, when you read this word right at the start, you might think something like, okay, maybe I could like interact with it in a way. What we mean when we say interact is something along the lines of if you're a plumbing website and you link people to a place that sells plumbing gear, that's kind of like interactive content. So someone is going to interact with your website and then they're going to be brought to another page. That's a bit like backlinking as well, but for our purposes here, it's essentially content that's driven or related to its previous content. That's what interactive content is. Don't feel like you have to like touch stuff and stuff for that to work as well. It's just something to relate to us. As a general idea, there might be a bit of confusion here because we throw a lot of keywords around like brand, content, and selling, but essentially what we want to get out there from testimonials and what people say about us is our content itself. You want to drive your content because that's what's driving your brand. And then remember, for our content, we can use like word checkers, Grammarly, or BuzzSumo, or other things. Word document with spell checker is what I use sometimes, so make sure that you use the tools at your disposal. Now, there is quite a large amount of questions on social media on the quiz, which is surprising to me. I don't make them, and like it's only our last chapter, so I wish we kind of got more from other chapters, but I don't make the rules here. So essentially, we have a few questions on social media, and it's some of them are a bit kind of broad. Let's see here. Where was the one that I said? Yes. So Facebook is a bit. These slides that we were reviewing are a bit older and the questions are based on them too. So Facebook might be a bit more updated with this, but one of the questions on the quiz asks about like, what is a good way to engage your audience using Facebook? And nowadays, because of the pandemic, it might not be appropriate to, plan an event for your business because it's a bit different. But just as a kind of freebie, the answer to that one is the event planning. There's a few of them that might seem like they're the correct answer as well. And when I was reviewing it, I'm like, that's technically correct too. But just as a reminder that event planning is going to be the one you want to go for because we use these social media platforms, again, not to kind of ostracize our audience, but to kind of bring them in and make them feel a bit more like they're a part of our goal and our mission. Excellent. Let's see here. I did mention a bit about the video optimization, which was something we covered in chapter 11. But again, the video optimization essentially is one where you want to have it to be a bit square, like we have it as on Instagram, have some supers, which are just some shots, and then be short as well, so being short. Any other term for optimization won't really do it. That's kind of all you need to do to optimize those. And then, of course, the entire reason that we want to use social media, what's the purpose, is to make people a bit more loyal to your brand, or essentially a way to get your brand out there so more people own it and wear it as well, and they're proud to be a part of it. Remember that each social media platform has its pros and cons. LinkedIn is great if you're going to be doing industry and you're relating to like maybe you're in academia or you're doing research and stuff. That's good for LinkedIn. YouTube is also great for like promotional videos, or as I said as well, if you have a construction company and you can record yourself building up your house, That's a very good idea as well. So each of these are different, but remember that there's not like a go-to set social media to use. They all have their pros and cons. And as a general idea, I'm kind of jumping around the place, sorry. We always want to use a strategy when we have social media, right? We don't want to just make these platforms that then start like spewing out content. We want to make sure that we're prioritizing our efforts and matching these proper digital channels. And that's a very fancy way of saying hitting the right target audience and making sure that we're reaching the right people. And that's what you could refer to as a proper digital channel. And that's the purpose that we need a strategy for. And that's why we use social media. Great. So these are my favorite guys here to link building. I'm sure you guys are sick of link building by now. But remember, the entire purpose of link building is to help boost our SEO results because they can help boost it very well. And then the general definition of it, again, is having other websites or pages that aren't related to our website point to our website, or pretty much say, hey, if you click here, you'll go to John's Ice Cream Shop or something like that. So that's why we have, or excuse me, that's what link building is. And of course, if we recall, we're going to look at some tools in a bit, but there's a bunch of tools to analyze these broken links. And then, of course, always feel free to contact any site. There's not to make it sound like a cutthroat industry, but if you are with another small business and you're your competition, there is nothing keeping you from linking to the same site they had as well. Usually in business, it doesn't really pay off to be like super friendly and humble about stuff. So don't feel that if someone else is using the same link that you can't contact them as well. That's kind of like saying that if there's an ice cream shop on the Chicago Reader, then I can't use the Chicago Reader. It doesn't really make sense. And half the time they probably won't even notice or care either. So don't feel that because your competition is using them, you can't. And then, of course, as a general reminder, and I think most of us got this, we want to make sure that the links to our website from other ones aren't just completely random, right? If I'm on a tourist website and I click like an advertisement on there, and then it takes me to this website that is like selling plumbing supplies, I'm going to think it's a little bit of a scam, right? Like, why are these guys linked to this vacation site? So make sure that you're always double checking where your links are going to. And how do we double check the links and stuff? That is where our developmental tools come in, right? So we went through a few of them. These are the three main guys that we went through, but these are very heavily talked about in chapters 10 and 8 and 9. And again, just as a general debrief on them, the site speed tools help determine the speed of our site. You can kind of determine based on the general aspect of these titles how these tools operate. But again, these site speed tools help determine if anything's wrong with our site. Deep crawling tools essentially go through our website to help fix some issues and determine if there's stuff wrong with the technical aspects of our site. And it's going to, of course, provide an analysis for us as well. There's also a keyword research and analysis tool, and that is concerned with determining these phrases and related keywords to help us out. And we use those for quite a few chapters, so you guys should be experts in all of these already, as these are what you use to build up your capstone as well. But again, I just went ahead and added in the general definition to help out with the quiz as well, in case you wanted some reinforcement. But yeah, these are the main chapters to do, or excuse me, the main topics to do with the quiz. With some give or take. Again, these aren't the direct answers, so I kind of put these slides together to help kind of point you in the right direction. Please remember to look through these videos. You can, I'm not going to make you guys watch the entire thing. You can kind of skip through them and stuff as well if you like. I don't mind. So make sure you link that. I'll make the titles here as well so that you guys know which ones are which. But yeah, and then again, if you find any errors or something's just really confusing about the slides, just let me know and I can fix them. But again, the main topics will be the keywords, content and content optimization, social media, which is your chapter 11, links and link building, and then development tools. And don't worry, don't think that you need to memorize like the 20 plus development tools we did. We essentially, instead of asking about specific tools, the question will be something along the lines of like, what does deep crawling site tools do and stuff like that. Excellent. So that's all I kind of have here. I'm sure I might be missing one or two things, and I'll see it during the quiz if I get questions on it. But does anyone have questions right now? Anything do you want me to cover or any concerns about the quiz? You guys are SEO experts there. Excellent. Okay, perfect. Okay, Great. So I hope the review helped a bit. I'm going to go ahead and add in these chapter slides, but I'm going to